What's up, buttons? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're jumping into Black Ops 6 Zombies. We're talking Reckoning, and as you can see here, I have a blank canvas on my screen. I've actually created something special for this video specifically, and with the release of Reckoning, I come to the conclusion that it is a very confusing map, and a lot of you might be struggling to navigate your way through it. So I put together a little map, or I built myself a little map here that I hope along the way will help you guys learn the map a little bit easier and understand the places that you are and how you can get to the certain places that you need to get to. Overall, I think it'll speak for itself. And I did go out of my way to try to label things to make it as clear as possible. And I will also leave a link in the pinned comment down below to the image itself, so you guys can go over there, save it, and keep it for a little bit of a cheat sheet. But hopefully you guys do enjoy this. This is a little bit outside the normal videos that I do, but here is the big reveal of the map itself. Let me go ahead and uncover it. And there we go. So as you can see, we have a 2-tower system for the map. Although there is 3 towers, the 3rd tower is exclusively for the boss fight only. And the boss fight is obviously you going up the lift up to the top of the tower. So the entire tower is what you experience once you enter the portal, go into the boss fight itself. So we have a 2-tower system here. I'm going to do my best to kind of show you guys this and explain it a little bit. I don't want to go too much into detail because I think once you guys actually save it for yourself, it'll make a little bit more sense. But I'll just give you guys the idea of how I built it. Essentially, this is Janus Reception here. I think you guys should be able to see my mouse at least a little bit. Janus Reception is where you're going to spawn. Obviously, this A portal here is going to be closed by default until you make your way all the way to power. But essentially, you have 2 choices in Janus. You can go to Quantum, which goes up here, where the Melee Macchiato is the brain, and even Speed Cola, which does allow you to take a gravitational teleporter, whatever you want to call them, across over to Android Assembly. But essentially, most of the time you're going to go up to Mutant if you're doing the main quest Easter egg, because you do have to go into Mutant to get the syringe. But essentially, Janus Reception will take you either to the 2nd floor or the 3rd floor of that 1st tower. So either way you choose, when you actually go through or exit out of the starting room, you will still be in Tower 1. Now, more than likely, most of my matches, I don't actually open up Quantum at all because there's other ways that you can get there that we're going to get to as we go. But essentially, let's say, for example, you open up F. You're going to follow this line up here to this other F. These are kind of boxes representing the elevators currently on the map. Obviously, this is an insane detail. The most detailed thing I could give you guys was really just having the perks available on here. That way you guys would essentially have something to help you navigate these different areas. So hopefully these perk indicators will actually help you guys understand where you are on the map. But essentially, like I said, you're going to take the F portal, you're going to go up, you're going to get to the Mutant Research. So once you make your way up to Mutant Research, you got yourself the syringe, you're going to be taking this H portal here, which will take you over to Android Assembly. The other cool thing too is obviously there's a hole in the ground here, which allows you to drop down to Quantum, which is why a lot of the time I don't actually open up this elevator. So you could drop down to Quantum and still have that gravitational teleporter that is at 0 cost that allows you to also go over to the Android Assembly. So technically, from both the 2nd and 3rd floors here, you can get access to Android Assembly, and you could obviously do it backwards where you go up to Quantum and you take this across, and then you utilize the gravitational teleporter to get to Mutant Research. But once you make your way over to Android, you're going to go into the only elevator there, which is going to take you up to Dark Entity. And then with that, there is a gravitational teleporter that does take you across where you're in that director's area where that Juggernog is. Again, I'm hoping that these perks just help you guys understand where you are on the map when you're in real time. And again, it gives you a little bit better idea of ways that you can help remember the places that you are. So now that you are in Directors, there is this C portal here. There's 2 portals that you're going to have, but you will only get access to the one when you open the button here. And when you go in and actually turn on the power and get access to Pack-a-Punch, which ends up being at the basement floor or the 1st floor, similar to Janus Reception in Tower 2. So as you can see here, this C teleporter brings us all the way down here because you are literally at the bottom level of Tower 2 when you're in that Pack-a-Punch room. And I did figure this all out just based on SAM trials, positioning, having other players in my match just to help me kind of figure it out. So 2-tower system, it does make it a little bit confusing when you're in the different rooms and how you're getting to each of these places. But I honestly don't think there's any better way to look at it than before you go into the teleporter to actually go to Pack-a-Punch, you're in that director's quarters / executive suite. You can drop all the way from that level, go down to Mutant Research, drop down that hole, go down to Quantum, drop down another hole, and find your way all the way back to Janus Reception. So if you're anywhere in the Tier 1 locations, you can essentially drop down a hole and get all the way back to Janus Reception where you started out in Spawn. Now, in order to get over to the other tower, once you actually have that power opened up and you are in the sub level 10 where you did access Pack-a-Punch, you do have two portals in this room. There's the portal that takes you back to Director's Quarters, which makes it easy to get back to Mutant Research by dropping into the hole, or you could go through the other portal on the opposite side of the room. It will actually take you back over to spawn. So between the spawn location and the Director's Quarters, you can kind of just navigate from the top of the tower to the bottom of the tower using that Pack-a-Punch room. Now, once you actually have everything opened up, honestly, the hardest place to get to is Android Assembly here. Although I didn't put an icon on this specifically for the Wonder Fizz, that is where the Wonder Fizz is located, and it makes perfect sense when you actually look at it like this. And then over here, you do have the teleportation lab. There is one other teleporter that you have access to once you open the door with the mutant injection that you get special, the Fowler's injection. It gives you access to the teleportation lab. And then within the teleportation lab is the giant portal that takes you to the boss fight, aka Tower 3. So hopefully having access to this, it will make the picture of the map a little bit more clear. I like to look at it more of like a zigzag. You're starting in Janus Reception, you're going up the third floor, you're going across, you're going up, you're going back across, and then you're making your way into Pack-a-Punch, but then you have access to both the first and top floor just via that Pack-a-Punch location. And then the nicest thing too is if you're in this bottom floor, Janus Reception, you go right into here, go into Pack-a-Punch, go into Directors, and you can shoot across the Dark Entity, which a lot of your Easter egg steps are going to be involved in, right? But this is the map that I put together. Hopefully the two tower system, me explaining it a little bit, will make things a little bit more clear. And again, let me know down in the comment section below if you guys enjoyed this video. It's a little bit outside the landscape of things that I normally cover. And I kind of just felt like if I built this for myself, I should share it with you guys. And I think a lot of you guys will benefit from it, though. So thank you guys for all the support in today's video, all support in the channel, and I look forward to seeing y'all in the next one. Peace!